Hello everyone and welcome to ITLS Academy Empower the Youth. So today in this lecture we will going to study about another bacterial agent of foodborne illness, that is E. coli. In the previous lecture we have studied about Salmonella, we have also studied about Campylobacter and what are the diseases that are caused by Salmonella and Campylobacter. So today we will going to study about E. coli, that how E. coli leads to foodborne illness. So let's start with the topic and let's see what is E. coli. So E. coli is known as Escherichia coli, is a type of bacteria that normally lives in our intestine. It's also found in the gut of some animals. So basically this type of bacteria is present in our intestine, and if you see some animals, so in the gut of different type of animal they are present. So most type of E. coli are harmless, and they do not cause any harm, and even they helps to keep your digestive system in a good and healthy. But some strain of E. coli, they are very dangerous and they can cause serious diseases like diarrhea. And if you eat the contaminated food or drink, they can also cause spoilage of spoilage from that contaminated water and food. So E. coli has two phases, means two roles, that is it act as a beneficiary when it is present in our intestine. It keeps our intestine healthy and digest and helps in digestion, whereas it also have a very adverse effect, since if the strain of E. coli is present, so they causes certain types of diseases like diarrhea. So E. coli with food poisoning, you can also get pneumonia and urinary tract infection from different types of bacteria. So apart from causing food poisoning, they also cause different types of other diseases like pneumonia, urinary tract infections, and in fact 75% to 95% of the urinary tract infection, they are basically caused by E. coli. And E. coli is a normal resident of the bowel, which is how it make it way to the urinary tract. So basically it is present in the bowl of a human being, so it can easily get access to the urinary tract, and about 75 to 95% of the urinary tract infection, it is caused by E. coli bacteria. Then comes what are the symptoms. So E. coli can also cause a life threatening symptoms such as adult kidney failure, fever, bleeding, confusion, seizures. Means E. coli can also causes the life threatening symptoms like adult failure, means all the kidney diseases, yeah, kidney failure is caused by the strain of E. coli. Even it causes fever, it causes bleeding, it causes confusion, seizures. So let's see the common symptoms that is caused by E. coli bacteria. So you can get a low grade fever, means a fever that is less than 101 degree Fahrenheit. So that is the common symptoms that is caused by E. coli. Then apart from this, it also causes vomiting. Then it causes some stomach cramp, means abdominal cramp or stomach pain. This is caused by E. coli. Then diarrhea, sometimes body means diarrhea, it is a loss of water from the body in the way of feces, and sometimes vomiting. So it causes symptoms like diarrhea, fever, bleeding, low grade fever. Now comes the source and transmission. What are the source of transmission of E. coli infection? So basically we have divided this into three parts. The first is the pathotype, second is the symptoms, and third is the mode of transmission. So if we see the E. coli infection, so if we see the pathotype, so it is the EPEC, that is enteropathogen E. coli, and the symptoms is vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramp, and fever. Okay, so now if we check the mode of transmission, so the mode of transmission is consumption of food and water, contaminated with fecal material means consuming that kind of food that is contaminated, means contaminated by different kind of microorganisms. Even the consumption of water that is not treated water, means the unhygienic water, if you consume that amount, that type of water, then also it causes serious symptoms like diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain and fever. Then E. coli, another strain is ETEC, that is enterotoxigenic E. coli, and the symptom is diarrhea, abdominal cramp, and vomiting, sometimes leading to dehydration and shock. Now let's see what is the mode of transmission. Again the same, the uncontaminated food, means uncontaminated water, means consumption of both these uncontaminated food and water, that leads to the symptoms like fever, severe abdominal pain. Then comes the enterohemorrhagic E. coli, and again the symptoms are same, and as mode of transmission is transmission of food such as raw or uncooked ground meat. So these are certain mode of transmission of these type of bacteria, and it leads to serious diseases when not treated. Sometimes people lost their life and leads to death also when the diseases are not treated well. So it is always recommended whenever you are using or consuming any food items, then the food item should be contaminant free, should be pathogenic free, and should be properly cooked, should be properly stored, and it should always prepared in a hygienic environment. Now comes the treatment. Once you have these symptoms like fever, abdominal cramp, diarrhea, so what is the treatment? So the only way your doctor can know for sure if you have E. coli infection is to send a sample of your stool to the lab to the analyze. Means your doctor, just to make sure that you have a E. coli infection, so he send the sample of your stool to the labs, and further analysis is done there. Fortunately the infection usually go on its own. So sometimes if the infection is mild, so it can go its own of their own. So for some types of E. coli associated with diarrhea, such as watery travelers diarrhea, antibiotics can shorten the length of time you have symptoms and might be used in moderately severe cases. So so sometimes when the you can say the when the symptoms are not severe, so it can be treated on their own. But sometimes when when the condition or the infection is not so serious, so you need certain types of antibiotic just to shorten the time of the symptoms you have, and it can be used moderately in severe cases. But if you have a fever or bloody, that we have already discussed, that if you have fever and bloody diarrhea, means a diarrhea is consisting of some blood, so you should always seek suggestion from the doctor. Shiga toxin producing E. coli antibiotics should not be taken then. They can be actually increase the production of Shiga toxin and worsen your symptoms. So you should always go and seek to doctors for further treatment. So now comes what is the preventive measures that you can take to avoid E. coli. So one of the most important things you can do to protect yourself and your family against E. coli is to wash your hands. Means by because our hand is the mode of contact or mode of transmission of different types of pathogen inside our body, because we handle different types of product through our hand. So you should always sanitize your hand before eating the food, before handling the food, or even before consuming and preparing the food. So before you prepare the food, you should always sanitize your hand. Before preparing bottles or food for the infant and toddlers, because their immune systems are not so strong, So you should always avoid making their feeder bottle and making their food with an unclean hand. You should always clean your hand and before preparing their bottles. Then before touching anything use such as pacifiers that directly goes into the child mouth, you should always boil the pacifier. You should always wash your hand before touching the pacifier of the child. Then after you have used the bathroom or changed the diaper, you should always wash your hand and always use sanitizer or washing. That hand wash should always be there, so that you should eliminate or remove the bacteria that are just came into your contact with your hands. Then after you had contact with animal, even if you have a contact with your own pets, so you should always wash your hand. After handling a raw meat, you should always clean your hand, and the meat should be properly cooked, should be properly washed before consumption. So you should always take these type of preventive measures before consuming any food, before handling any food items. So these are certain preventive measures that you should always take. Then comes the how you should do that. Wash your hands, that we have already discussed. You should always wash and properly cook the raw meat. Once you bought the raw meat from the market, you should properly wash them. You should properly keep them in the refrigerator, so that there should be no bacterial growth. To avoid bacterial growth, you should always wash the vegetables and fruits before consuming, because unwashed fruits and vegetable may cause the growth of bacteria and may cause contamination in the food items. Then comes your staff clothing. Your staff clothes should be properly clean. They should always wear the headscarf. They should always wear proper gloves. They should always have the shoe cover before handling the food. Then complex equipments means the equipments that are used in the manufacturing of the food items and food production should be equally properly sanitized. Cleaning materials means you should always clean the surface before preparing the food. You should always the equipments that are used. Then you should always clean the equipments and the utensils before preparing the food. Means all the things should be properly cleaned, so that there should be no contamination of microorganism. Now that's bring to the end of the lecture. This lecture is quite short because we have seen the general criterias of the E. coli and how E. coli is harmful to us. So as far as the lecture is concerned, we have completed what is E. coli. We have seen the symptoms of E. coli. We have also seen the sources and transmission of E. coli, means what are the prototype and symptoms of E. coli. We have also studied about the mode of transmission of E. coli. We have seen the treatment, or means what are the basic treatment you can take to avoid the contamination from E. coli or by E. coli. And at last we have seen the preventive measures. What are the preventive measures that you can take to prevent the spoilage or contamination or any foodborne illness through E. coli. So these are certain things that we have discussed today. So hope you have understood the lecture. If any doubt, any queries related to the lecture, and you can simply leave your queries in the comment section below. In the next lecture I'll be answering all the queries, and by the time, thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get more update. You can also visit our website, that is www.itlsacademy.com, and you can simply get updated. This is our helpline number, that is 7080833450. You can simply call on this number and get updated of any queries. Again, thank you for watching. Yes students, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because you will get some more lectures related to the food microbiology. Thank you.